Linked to our digital identities more and more all the time, and so we have to protect them more carefully. Plus, advances in technology are making it difficult to believe our own eyes and ears. Cybersecurity consultant Dave Hatter joins us now with these stories, and we were talking about it during the commercial break. Dave, first of all, thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Bob.
The deep fake stuff it's scary, and if you've never had a chance to see one of these videos online, there's a famous one they did with President Obama where you wouldn't know that wasn't him talking, and that wasn't him talking.
It's very difficult to tell that these things are fake, hence the name deepfake. You know, it uses some advanced artificial intelligence, which now this technology is available to just about anyone, and that's one of the reasons why this is scary. It used to be, if you wanted to make a fake video like this, you had to have resources like a television studio or something, you know?
Right.
Now virtually anyone can do this, and a lot of people have probably tried things like the Face app where they were aging themselves and that sort of thing. So yeah, this is getting,
I mean, that's in Snapchat. I mean, that's not even an app specifically made to do this.
That's exactly right. So imagine if you had access to the technology, the hardware, the software that was specifically designed to take audio or video and make it appear to be what it's not, how good it would be. And it's frankly very good. As you mentioned, there's an enormous number of these deep fake videos out there that are surprisingly realistic.
How will this be combated in the future? What approach can we possibly take if we can't believe our eyes and we can't believe our ears? Is there going to be some kind of technology? Is someone going to come up with something where they're going to be able to analyze a piece of video and go, okay, that was messed with?
So that's a good question, Bob, and there are people working on that. I think, though, it's going to get harder and harder for an individual to look at something, because one of the ways these things are being used is someone gets audio of a CEO, they leave a voicemail for someone in a finance department that says initiate a wire transfer to X. It sounds just like that person. So there are many different aspects of this. There are folks working on technology to try to determine if something's fake or not. Exactly how they would do that, I'm not sure. I mean, it's a very tricky problem, and I think you're going to see even more of this as we head into this 2020 election cycle.
You're going to have to check and recheck and recheck. It's not always okay to press a button.
No, you're going to have to verify that something is real, and it's going to get harder and harder to believe your eyes, as you mentioned.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Is it a SIM card swapping or swim? Explain that. We're talking about phones because everybody, what's your cell number? We do that on almost everything we sign up for anymore.
Yeah, and it's never been more important for people to protect their information around their phone because so much is now tied to it. The phone number was never really meant to be a unique identifier, but thanks to everything connected to phones now it is. So in your phone you have something called a SIM card or SIM module. It basically contains the identifier that says this is Dave Hatter or this is Bob Herzog. Bad guys have figured out that in most cases, most mobile carriers have very limited restrictions around what it takes to swap that. Maybe you've lost a phone or some of your viewers have lost a phone and you just call up and say, hey, I lost my phone, answer a few questions, and they'll transfer that to a different SIM card in another phone. Well, bad guys know this. In fact, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, had his Twitter account hacked using this very technique. So yeah,
really?
Yeah, it's a fairly, they're targeting specific people at this point.
Sure.
But my point of bringing this up is it's important for people to realize that as you have more and more tied to that phone, it's very critical to protect it in every way you can. And this SIM swap attack is leading people to have their accounts drained and all kinds of bad things. You need to be aware of it, and you need to contact your carrier and ask them what protections do they have that you can enable to try to limit the likelihood that you'll be attacked like that.
Because I would imagine if they can swap out to a different SIM card, anything you got up in the cloud, you're probably going to have access to and all that kind of thing, right?
That's exactly right, Bob, and that's one of the things they'll do. So once they transfer essentially your phone to another device, things like two-factor authentication that we talk about all the time on here go out the window.
Not going to help
now those text messages are coming to the phone. Now there are some workarounds for that. In addition, first thing, if you suddenly lose cell service, you should, and it doesn't come back, you should immediately contact your carrier because it's possible you've been SIM swapped. Okay. You can go to your carrier, Verizon, AT&T, whomever, and see what can you do. Like, can you put a PIN that only you would know on that account, so if someone does try to swap that, they don't just have to answer like where you live and the stuff that would be on your bill.
Right.
But someone could dumpster dive or get through any number of different mechanisms. And then things like authenticator apps or physical authentication devices like YubiKey, that gets that whole text-based authentication for multi-factor authentication out of the mix. So now someone has to physically have the actual device. Even if they SIM swap it, they won't have that information. So there are some things you can do. I encourage people to contact their carrier.
He scares me to death, but I'm sure glad he comes in to talk to us about this stuff. Dave Hatter, great to see you, buddy.
My pleasure, Bob.
Thanks for coming in. It's on.